Are you looking for true personal freedom? The freedom to design a life you truly desire? Then you're absolutely in the right place. True personal freedom comes from when you take 100% responsibility and control of your money and your mind. Here you're going to learn ideas, tips, and wisdom that's going to help you bridge the gap from where you are now to your dream life in the future. My name is Randy Wilson, and welcome to the Rich Mind Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Rich Mind Podcast. Today I want to talk about the trip that I just got back from. I was in Scottsdale, Arizona over this past weekend. It was the first weekend of April for those, depending on when you're listening to this. I was out there for a RichDad event. Anybody who knows me would know that Robert Kiyosaki and Kim Kiyosaki were and have been fantastic influences on me and in my journey of discovering financial education, the things that they have taught me, as far as even how the systems work, how money works, how to build a business, all of the things that I love to discuss here on the podcast. But there was an opportunity. They were hosting an event. Actually, they said it was the first event that they've held since 2010. And actually, I think I attended that event as well back in 2010. So I was at their last event, and then I was also at this one here just now. And I think this will probably be the last one. I don't think that they intend to do another one going forward, which is the reason why I wanted to definitely get into the room with Robert and Kim and their team. So if any of you have paid attention or are paying attention to Robert, you'll know that he is and can be a little polarizing, meaning he sometimes can come off a little abrasive. Sometimes he speaks his mind very bluntly. And I would say that this event was no different. It was a 3-day event. The first day was a lot of him venting, a lot of him not necessarily being real excited about being there. He had shared with us that actually the day before he was actually in the hospital. So he probably wasn't feeling well, which I'm sure was making his experience a lot worse, and it was making it worse for us as well. But I will say that through that experience or through that first day, I calmed my own mind, which is another thing we talk about here on the podcast. I calmed my own mind to be thinking about, so about mid-morning, I was just looking around the room, not necessarily paying attention to what he was saying or the rant he was on at that moment, but I kept thinking to myself, who am I here to meet? Who am I here to network with? Why did I show up in this room? And lo and behold, at lunchtime, about an hour or two later, after thinking through that process, sat down at lunch with a couple that actually had met the year previous at a different conference. I recognized him in the lobby, but I don't think we didn't exactly connect right away when we made eye contact or when we met. But through a brief conversation, we realized that, yeah, we have attended a conference previous. And the good news about that discussion was he was the normal chit chat back and forth as far as what are you doing, what's going on. He presented me with a potential deal that my wife and I are looking into as far as a business opportunity. Now, I don't know if that opportunity will lead to anything, but the idea is that I took a situation that wasn't necessarily the best as far as the environment, and turns out I reconnected with somebody that I had met a year or so previous. They presented to me with a potential deal because of that connection that we had made previous. And so I was turning what seemed to be a not so positive experience into definitely more of a positive experience. So I just wanted to share that with you as far as the beginning part and how you can take a negative situation and try to turn that into a more of a positive. Now, going a little bit deeper into the conference, one thing that I will say for myself is that I've been studying the economy, the financial system, the cycles that we're going through, inflation, all of the things that we might be experiencing in our world, building businesses, having businesses fail, you name it. I've been through those experiences. But one common theme and one great part about the Rich Dad events is that they will have us discuss. So they'll have a topic that's being talked about from stage, and then when they are done, they will have us discuss what are hearing or what we are learning amongst our table. And our tables were typically about 6 to 8 people at any given time. And one thing that I was hearing a lot, so we would switch tables depending on the session. So we would, take a break, and when we came back, we were asked to sit at different tables, which was great because we got to meet different folks. But I heard over and over from folks that were just now beginning their process of understanding the financial system, understanding currencies, understanding what real money is, understanding investing, businesses, that type of thing. So they were relatively new in their journey, but they kept sharing the word scared. They kept telling me or the table that they were scared because of what was being said. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I know Robert sometimes can come across polarizing, and it's almost like the world's coming to an end, the sky is falling type of message. And what I tried to do when I was basically asked from the people at the table was to explain to them that yes, things are not perfect, but they're never perfect. But the idea was, and the great part about them being in the room with me and with the group was that they were getting educated. And with education, you can then become aware of ways to navigate through the uncertain times that we are heading into. None of us know what's coming. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow, next year. Everything has, I would say that it rhymes, it doesn't repeat. So history rhymes. So we can take ideas and thoughts from the past, the different experiences, the 2007s and 8s. We can talk about, I was paying attention a little bit, not as much as I do today, but even back in the early 2000s in the dot-com bust. So I've experienced and witnessed 3 different cycles, let's say, but then I've also dove into my education and became really aware of what was going on in the system, realizing that what we're being taught and fed isn't necessarily the correct way or the correct answer, but then allowing myself then to question everything, right? And that's basically what I do. If I hear something, I try to question it and find the opposite side of what somebody is saying. So this is a piece of advice I gave to the people at the table. You are going to find people, influences, gurus, whatever you want to call it. They are on the far, and I don't care if it's right or left, but far side of doom and gloom. The world's coming to an end. We're all going to die tomorrow. What are we going to do? Right? You've got that extreme. Okay. And that's fine. That's okay. You can believe some of that, but you don't need to believe all of that. Okay. But then you've also got the side that says that everything's fine, the blue skies, sunshine, and rainbows and unicorns, and everything's just going to be fine. You have nothing to worry about. And so you've got both sides talking at the same time. And if you don't necessarily know what to do with that information, you're going to start taking or not taking action based on whether it's misinformation or it's just not necessarily the entire truth. So what I shared with the table was how I try to live my life is I try to play in the middle. Right. So I try to be aware of what the folks are saying as far as when it comes to the world coming to an end and everything's terrible and we don't know what to do. But then I also pay attention and try to make sure that I keep a positive mindset and realizing that, yes, we might be going through some negative times, some challenging times. But at the end of the day, we will all be fine if we prepare and if we do the things necessary to take care of ourselves and take care of our families and learn different topics, a new way of thinking. Get educated on how the systems are working. Get educated on how to take advantage of those systems to better yourself and your family. So hopefully that serves you today. That was the event in Scottsdale. It was really great. We played the cash flow game 2 or 3 times, which is always fun. I definitely recommend that. We will talk about the cash flow game in a future podcast episode. But the event itself was a great learning experience, even for myself, to remain in control of my own mind and not get stirred up by other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, and to stay focused on what I was there to do, which was to network, to be in the room with a mentor of mine that had taught me so much, and to leave the event better than when I arrived, meeting some folks, shaking some hands, making some connections, getting validation of some things that I've been studying, increasing my own education, and then sharing some of that education with others if they were interested in learning. So once again, hopefully you found that message valuable. The trip was great. I encourage you, get in the room with folks, go attend conferences, shake hands, learn from people, and that's going to accelerate your trajectory as far as your success level on a lot faster path than you can do just sitting at home watching things on TV or even watching things on your phone. So have a fantastic day. I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. And until the next episode, bye now. Thank you for joining me on the Rich Mind Podcast. I hope you found a ton of value in this episode. If so, I'd really appreciate a 5-star review, and you can also share it with your family and friends. And as my mentor Jim Rohn shared with me, in order to have more, you must first become more. And in order to become more, you must work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So go out there today and work harder on yourself to become more and build the life of your dreams. Until next time, my friends.